Hello, Moon to Moon. Welcome back to our series on the houses. We're exploring the frame of self-abandonment through the lens of the 12 houses of astrology. How are you enjoying it? How has it been for you? I would love if you are enjoying these, if they're bringing things up for you, if you're learning about yourself, if you're learning about astrology, if you're learning things that are shifting your perspectives. I would love it if you would write a comment. If you're on Spotify or if you're in Apple, please leave a rating or review. It's so wonderful to receive reviews. We've gotten many new reviews over here in the last few months. It's been really exciting for me. It feels really rejuvenating and renewing to have um, new reviews, especially because at least one of you has been listening to Moon since the beginning. So I thank you for that review. It was really moving to receive. When one makes a podcast, okay, this is going to be interesting how we're going to follow this line to see how it works through to the eighth house. But it is a thing to make a podcast because you are speaking into the dark. You are connecting in an unknown way to something out there. There's this trust that I advise my clients to call in when it comes to all of their craft out in the world, but especially with the podcast where you really have to trust in the bridge to another. It's like you're reaching out your hand and you're trusting that someone is out there to take it. And you can't really understand what it looks like for the other on the other side of the podcast. I mean, you can get ratings and reviews. Like that's pretty spectacular because then you're like, oh, you're listening. Oh, really? Wow. It's like so amazing to find out what someone's experience is because you're reaching out to them, but you can't see. And you can get numbers and analytics, but like I've always found that it's not very useful for me to fixate on the numbers. I care more about the numbers of like the evidence is in who's signing up for my things rather than like number of downloads because the evidence of someone saying yes to my offering, that tells me that like there's been a connection. Like someone has taken my hand from this podcast crafting and they want to go into the light so that I can see them. I can see their names at least when they register. And that's more valuable to me than number of downloads. But, I'm kind of changing my vision around it. Like I've always with Moon to Moon just wanted to give it the space to be like a vessel for my voice and what wants to come through it, where I feel the pleasure, I'm having fun, I'm not stressed. I don't need this to be a big deal. It's just a big deal to me, and that's why I do it. And the fact that people love it is the miracle. But Lately I've been shifting feeling into like, well, what if I actually had a goal of like exponentially growing the audience for this? Like, it's kind of scary. Y'all may be able to resonate with it. It's like, whoa, that's scarier because it's like pressure. But at the same time, maybe it's ready. If maybe the moon to moon is ready for that next chapter where the voice amplifies way beyond what I can even fathom. And wouldn't that be so fun? I just keep coming back to moon for me has to be fun. It has to be always fun. It's not ever a should. And I honestly think that that's part of its genius is the way that I hold it that way. So it's scary to put goals on it. It really is. But I will say that the likelihood of more and more and more people finding it is deeply is much more likely when there are good ratings and reviews. So I if you have never done that, I would so appreciate it if you would just take a minute to fill in the blank of like I listen to Moon because I come here because your time, your ear, your attention is like is your treasure. Is your treasure. So the fact that you're here is miraculous to me. And it would mean so much if you would share about that just a teeny little bit in the reviews. Thank you so much. Yeah, reaching out to someone else in the dark. There's some eighth house there. There's a vulnerability to the the kind of reach into the unknown that we will be supported by someone that's not us. Because the eighth house is very much about what's not us and how we can feel supported there. It's a scary realm, but I love the eighth house. It's where like a lot of my work is very eighth house. So let's see what happens. So as if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm back home. Oh, I'm back in my office. I'm back in Texas. I was road tripping with my daughter. She's 17. I got home last night at 11 p.m. And so today has been very much a re-entry day of just like, okay, who am I? Uh, let's get back into the program. I did my new moon pull this morning and looks pretty big. It's kind of like a scary card pull. So we'll see how that what emerges from that. It also has a lot of like very serious cards like the Hierophant, which is my life card. It has the Tower. It's got King of Cups. It's got King of Pentacles. It's got Ten of Swords. It's got Ten of Wands. Um, yeah, but it also has the Hermit. It has Nine of Pentacles, just to give you a vibe. So, here we go. This next cycle for me is going to hold the launch, the official launch of Emergence Astrology Pathway, which is kind of like in its first year. It's not, it's its third year, but I'm completely renovating this. So it feels new to me. What's also new is where it sits in my ecosystem. I was talking with Tegan West today, and she was like describing my offerings like a map, and I was like, I've got to draw this map out. I think drawing it out will help me understand how it shifted because it's definitely like a different map. It's like a completely different map than 2 years ago when I started emergence astrology an experiential course that you can take, and like the map changed, and so it sits there differently, and I'm speaking of it differently, and I'm revering it differently. Um, Not in a better way, just in a different way. So this series I'm doing on the houses, as you likely know, because you've probably listened to one of these before. I don't know. Some people pop into series in the middle because like maybe you want to go to that house first. But in case you don't know, this series is designed to speak to some of the deep heart pieces of emergence astrology, which I'm now understanding in the intelligence of the 3 year period that I have been weaving as it relates to the way of the three, which is something that I've been teaching, but I wasn't weaving it into the curriculum until now. And whereby, um, having composted my many smaller teachings that have made my name, that made my community, that brought people in, and then people stayed because they wanted to do the others. I'm now bringing it all into this one space where you can do 1 year, you can do 2 years, or you can do 3 years. They'll each be at once self-contained, but also holding the whole. So the focus is on self-abandonment because just like shame is the thing that is here, that's why my focus turned to shame. So self-abandonment is the thing that's here because authoritarian cultures are shame cultures, which is what we have. Um, the toxic patriarchy, the white supremacist culture, the colonial cultures, these systems, they have they work uh, to the degree that we don't trust ourselves and that we cede our own personal authority and our own inner knowing over to a larger authority, whether that's God or a nation or your, group identity that has ideas about you're good if you're like this and you're bad if you're like this, and you can't say that because that makes you bad. And all of those things are the little clues and the big clues to us not listening to ourselves, us not honoring the way we are and living in the freedom of who we are, which our chart has a lot to say. But it's very difficult to be in relationship to our chart when we're reading it through the lens of shame, when we're reading it through the lens of, but I'm supposed to be different than I am, which is self abandonment. So, when I came to astrology, I was looking to quit a whole lot of shit, a bunch of shit patterns that I was subscribing all to my own fucked upness. But there was some part of me, both very childlike and very ancient at once, who knew there was another way to be in myself, to be in my body, to be here on planet Earth, to be in present time, to be with other humans, to be with the stars, to be with the sun and the moon. And I wondered if astrology could help me with that. And astrology answered me, by which I mean more than astrology the way we teach it. In emergence astrology, there's a working assumption that the astrology that we are presented by even our most favorite people and teachers is ultimately a smaller version of a way, way bigger thing than we can ever fathom all at once. And that it can speak to us through the mysteries so that we can know it and be led by it and be remade by it in ways that aren't necessarily taught in the books. And this is how 2 years ago I uttered the words, astrology has a this side and a that side. I wanted to learn about the that side of astrology, just like I wanted to learn everything about the this side of astrology. The this side astrology is like what's in the books, what we've been given, the lineages, the techniques, the genius, the astrology podcast episodes, like Demetra George. Yes, it's so fun. Like, what's better? I love it. The Jupiter and Gemini in me, the academic in me, like never ending fascination with this side astrology. But there was another part of me becoming alive in the year that I found about astrology. And this was the part of me longing for something practically unspeakable, the audacity to trust that there was that side of astrology, a side I couldn't see yet, that could come to me through my own personal gnosis practices. And this was going to mean learning to trust what I heard, what I saw, what I feel, what I know. And so I set about my life to be the person who's learning about this and then sharing it with anyone who will listen. And that's emergence astrology. It's a mix of the this side astrology with the that side astrology, not just that comes through me, but that comes through everyone in contact with this invitation. So that every one of my students' voices, their knowings, we all constellate emergence astrology and aggregate it into form to be a thing that we know what it is, even if it's hard to describe. And it's a way that I'm inviting you into. I'm inviting you to be part of this emergence astrology that is made of a combination of the techniques, but more personal and collective gnosis woven so that you come to be anchored in your way with astrology. Emergence astrology is your way with astrology, and it's going to be very connected to you because so much of it's going to grow from your you-ness, the you-ness that comes through your own inner voice that I am going to be encouraging, conjuring into your awareness, helping you hear, helping you connect to, helping it get louder. And then in community, it's like we start to stomp on the ground and we really start to get into it together. And then it really starts to feel real. So year one is the exploration with the moon. And this is where we really learn the skills of self-attunement so that you can be a person of personal gnosis. And you know that, yeah, I'm a mystic. I hear these things. I see these things. I feel these things. I know these things. They're mine. and this is valid. I trust this voice. So that has to come first because it grounds you in what's most real, which is the thing that you've probably been the most confused over and the most taught to not be able to trust. So it's a major, major reprogramming. Major. Um, and so I would say the key things for year one, if you're thinking about this, is year one is really focused on the moon because the moon is holding the basin of your own selfness, holding your capacity for presence and attunement, deep listening. So we're going to be doing a lot of what doesn't feel like astrology. It's going to feel more like intuitive training, psychic training, energy training, so that you can really, really, really like feel that connection and it doesn't have to feel so wobbly or full of doubt and fear. And so self-attunement is like the real foundational piece of emergence astrology. And this is how it's not about me, Britten LaRue, because this is all about you and your voice. I'm helping you to bridge to that part of you you may not fully feel yet. So it's kind of like speaking into a podcast, right? Like the unknown listener. The unknown listener, dear listener, is you with yourself. You are going to be bridged with the you that you have not been close to. And this is going to be a remembering. So, this is why I've been repeating that emergence astrology pathway is not an astrology classroom, but it's a way of relating to the language as a form of repair, recovery, remembering, and renewal. So there's a real like self-timeness to year one. Like that you go into the hermitage, you go into some time for yourself, 9 months to incubate. And we don't really come together for like classroom seminar vibes until the fourth season. We meet the hermitage so that you can be seen in your gnosis, you can ask questions, you can clarify, you can integrate, but we're not doing like classroom vibes until spring. I mean, fall, depending on where you are, fourth season, I'm calling it. Year two is going to be more, it's going to be more than the moon. You know, it's going to be bringing in a lot of the other planets, most of them, if not all of them, in the applied ways that I've always been teaching them. And the focus is going to be much more on building devotional integrity with your own ways, your weird ways. So, integrity is really the big keyword for year two. And I would say that it's going to be like very heavily, I was going to say it's very going to be very Pluto. It's going to be very Saturn, year two. But everybody will be there. But I'm especially putting Mercury and Jupiter in year three because year three, we move to speaking in the world, speech that heals and transforms in the world, and the disruption of your truth voice. And we will be like participating in the world together in year three. So Mercury and Jupiter will be a little more there, but everything's going to be all woven in a little bit. But that's like the kind of curriculum intelligence. But those who come to work with me know that I'm primarily known for my teachings and my transformations regarding the moon, Saturn, and Pluto. more than anything, probably. I mean, you can give me your opinion on that. I love to hear. If you're like Britain, I can't believe you didn't say Venus. But I mean, I have big teachings on Venus that we'll do together. We'll do Venus devotion. But I think that I'm known for probably Mars too. The malefics. I'm known for the moon and the malefics. And the moon and the malefics is going to be something we do as a class in the fourth season together. And then I'll be continuing to riff on it the deeper we go. But I do feel like I'm known for Moon, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. And so that's going to be like that's the big zone. You want to go deeper with those? Here we go. I've shared before, this is not for astrology. It's not like designed for people new to astrology. It's because it's not a 101 experience. It's reformatting your relationship to astrology and yourself and your reality. So welcoming in astrology teachers, professional astrologers, welcoming in anyone who's like, I really want to weave all of this into my relationship to astrology. I'd love to have you. All levels are always welcome in my spaces because it's not about like expertise with knowledge. And if you are a beginner and you just feel drawn here, you're not the first person and you won't be the only person. I'm going to have a very short bibliography that I want you to move through before the fourth season. And that way you have 9 months to kind of solidify some of your understandings of astrology so that you have that feeling anchored before we all meet. You can completely disregard that. That's just me wanting to support you and feeling like you have a little finesse with the language, but you'll learn it through immersion, which is the best way to learn a language, and astrology is a language. All right. So, whew, emergence astrology in many ways is really eighth house. I could probably say that about all the houses, but I feel like so much of emergence astrology is like reaching out to touch something that you can't really see and understanding it in the moment that you're touching it so that you really can't see like the whole being at once, but you are very intimate with what is here right now. And the eighth house is a space of deep intimacy. We think about it in terms of other people's resources for us. Like it's what is supporting us that's not ours. And that's anything from our partner's money and our partner's parents' money to inheritance to like the way we relate to what we're indebted to. Like when we take on debt, like there was something out there that was helping us to pay for something. So it's kind of held together by the vulnerability of being supported and being supported with something intimate. So therapy can be very eighth house as well because we're sharing these kind of secret or hidden parts of ourselves to another, and we're reaching ourselves out to them to see if they'll take our hand and support us. I read somewhere, I think it was in one of Demetra George's books, Astrology for the Authentic Self. She said something about the root of therapy being from the Greek, meaning like among the gods. Therapy as meaning among the gods. And that makes me think about in terms of emergence astrology, like think about emergence, like you don't know what's coming out, right? Like something previously concealed is now revealed. And this is what happens whenever we are intimate with life, something kind of comes forward into our lives. Like there's a new level of intimacy. There's like presence that we previously didn't see before we got that intimate with it. And because of the intimacy with life, something emerges that was previously hidden. And so the idea with emergence astrology is how do I become approachable to what is hidden? What is hidden in me? What is hidden in reality? What is hidden among the gods? What is hidden in like the universe? How do I become approachable? What are the stances? What are the prayers? Where are the resources to learn how to be approachable? This is what I'm most interested in. So, with the eighth house, we're like opening ourselves. We're opening ourselves up to being received in some way, to being supported in some way. And this is why we also think about the eighth house as like caretakers, because, like, holy fuck, what is more intimate than the handling of your dead body? Just letting someone, letting yourself be dead now. And you're dead, and someone has your body, and they're cleaning it, and they're taking care of it. They're honoring your body. I mean, what is so vulnerable? Like, touch that just for a millisecond. Can you allow yourself to be supported? This is the deep, deep intensity of the eighth house. Can I open myself up to the vulnerability of being supported where I'm, most in need? We associate the eighth house with surgery rooms. Like someone goes in there with a scalpel because you're in need. Identifying and extracting root cause of the problem to help you. And this is what happens when we get into deep relationship with another human being. Like it's so vulnerable because we're showing ourselves, we're showing the other person where it hurts. We're showing the other person where we like don't want to actually be alone. We want to be supported. Or we know we can't do everything, that we want to feel held. We want someone to help us be here. And can you hold this secret with me? Can you hold my insecurity with me? Can you hold it? Will you leave me if you see this? So vulnerable. So this is an interesting house for exploring self-abandonment because this house is really about giving ourselves to somebody else, like giving ourselves to something else to take care of us. So you are actually going into someone's arms, house, space to be held in some way. So it sort of feels like, right, like a contradiction. What feels true to me is that like this is a space for deep maturity in our world. I think a lot of humans have the most pain in these kind of areas. I mean, I'm guessing from what I see, we fear this so much. And yeah, it's always been like my biggest desire is to create spaces where it feels safe to open up. It feels safe to be seen. It feels safe to speak truth. It feels safe to let someone see that we are in fact capable of being wounded, which is what vulnerability means, is to be capable of being wounded, which is what it means to be alive. So in fact, we're saying, can you see me in my humanity? Can you stay with me in the fullness of my humanity. So I think, yeah, this self-abandoning piece, I think, is like really has to do with identifying where we have the need, where we do have the need for the other, you know, and we want to be held, and unshaming that, allowing someone else to support us, allowing someone to hold the space while we're feeling what we're feeling, while we're in our paradox, allowing yourself to take on debt when it's important for you to do so, allowing someone to see you because you know within yourself that this being seen, this hunger to know myself at my most vulnerable places is part of the life, death, life process and is part of what I came here to understand. Then there's so many nuances here, right? There's so many nuances because I'll just take my example with Matt, my boyfriend. When we met each other, we had we had actually like come into this each on our own time, not knowing each other, found the sort of magic elixir of self, the fullness of ourselves, and like through our own hermitages, like through our own self focus and self attunement processes, and just like gloriously basking in our own selves after living most of our adulthood never doing that, not never taught that that was selfish, taught that that was problematic. Just came into the fullness of like, I have everything I've ever want in myself and through what I can reveal to myself. And like, I am what everything I ever wanted. Holy shit. It's like, is this the Holy Grail? And then meeting each other. And, you know, we didn't make it at first because it was extremely frightening to get to that point in our romance where we were like, oh, I don't want to lose you. Oh, I really love this. I really want this. I don't want this to end. Oh, I'm not in control of you. You're a sovereign being. That's what I love about you is you get that. And oh shit, please don't leave me. Oh my God, are you trying to leave me? I bet you're trying to leave me. Whoa. Any minute now, he's probably going to leave, you know, and just like, fuck, I thought I didn't need anyone. Wait a minute. Like, what a head trip. And just like, wait a minute. Is this paradox? Is this the paradox that like I don't need anyone to be happy and I really, really, really want you to be here with me living my life? Is this it? Yeah. And on the other side of our repairing, the only way through that was surrender. The only way we were going to make it work was through surrender to trust. On the other side of that, I still live with the fear that I'm going to die or he's going to die. I mean, this is the eighth house. The vulnerability that like one of us is going to hold the other one when we die. Fuck. It's so intense. And it loops you right back to like, but it's not right this moment. How do I want to be in presence in this treasure of a relationship, this abundance, this over the top abundance of this relationship, because I still have it today. And how can I be even more intimate with its delights? And I think for me, self abandonment would have been to run away. It would have been to run away and be like, you're going to hurt me just like everybody else. I'm out of here. I'm just going to date people who are a lot not as high sensation as you are. That will be way easier on my body. I will stay in control and I will not have to surrender into trust because surrendering into trust kind of sounds like absolute madness, but it would have been self-abandonment to give up on this. I mean, not after a certain point, don't get me wrong. Like, if we had continued the way we were acting towards each other, then it would have been self abandonment to stay. But we both followed our own laws that we made to protect the relationship. And it took like 6 months of us being extremely, extremely just careful with one another and creating a new body of evidence that we could trust each other, that we got through it. And so it wouldn't have worked without him, right? Like that's the scary thing about the eighth house is it's like you're not alone on this one. Like this is not one where you can be like, I'll just do these things and then I'll get what I want. Uh-uh. You are not alone. It's not all up to you. So it's a trust dance, constantly staying in touch with resonance of the body. Like, how does this feel? How am I doing? And we made it through because we both fully committed. If one of us had been less committed, it would have fallen apart. And that is just so eighth house because I was, I needed him to show up in his fullness of trust in order for me to be able to hold in the surrender to trust. And we did. And yeah, so self abandonment in these cases is um, refusing the high sensation of intimacy where you're most vulnerable. And the invitation is to be approachable to the miraculous, which is how our relationship feels as the miraculous every day of my life. So, yeah, everybody may have their own story there, you know? And I think it is very it has something to do with you and others. So the degree to which we are available to be approachable to intimacy, our availability and our approachability to intimacy also depends on who's around, you know? But I think that I never could have had this journey with Matt if I hadn't done the whole self attunement and integrity thing for myself first. I was so landed in myself by the time I met him, and he was so landed in himself that if we had met even like months earlier, I don't know how it could have shaken out because it would have been just so frightening for both of our inner children. We just would have been like, right person, wrong timing. Maybe, maybe another time. Like, it's too much. So we each had to break up with each other once. First I did, and then he did. all in the first 7 months, as each of us was like, I love you, but it's self-abandonment for me to stay. And then eventually it would be self-abandonment for me to not stay. And I think the nuances of that I was able to only discern because I was so anchored in my practices, the kinds of practices that we're doing in emergence astrology year one and year two and year three. So if this feels compelling to you as a healing journey, then I would love for you to join us. The doors open on June 21. They'll stay open through the rest of June, and then they won't open again until June 2027. So, if you want to be part of this very first iteration of the totally reformatted emergence astrology pathway, I would love to have you there. And also, if you're vibing this whole thing, I'm doing a workshop this Thursday, June 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to also include a handout and a meditation. It's called Abundance Begins with No. And it's like a very condensed, highly potent workshop for you to get a feel for the depths and range and the impact of the kinds of teachings that we're going to be doing in emergence astrology. It's going to be standalone. So you could come and do the workshop and not do the pathway. It's $27. So the idea here is that you receive extreme impact for a low price. So you can test the waters, you can find out. So far, everyone that's signed up is someone that I already know. But if you're new to my world or you've been like a 2026 new to moon, feeling it out, maybe I want to study with Britten. This is a great thing to do because it just gives you a chance to get in and at a gentle commitment, but I promise you it's going to have huge, huge results because this is really a teaching that I'm known for. I'm, I think a huge reason people come to me is because abundance begins with no for me. My life changed and I am who I am now because of some major, major no's that I enacted in 2017, 2018. And then I continue to, people watch me all the time, compost things that I'm doing, restructure. I say no. I say no. I say no when I just feel the dissonance, the emergent no, and it keeps things very alive. It's been a huge journey for me because I'm a very benefit kind of person, as in, I like connecting. I like things to feel good, big old Pisces over here. Like, I just love being cozy with like everybody's happy with the way we do it. And so it's been a real my what I teach is what I've learned, which is how to become a person whose benefit qualities are protected and guided by my malefic qualities of Saturn, Mars, and Pluto, especially. And then the moon helps me hold all of that and take care of myself because I have a thousand and an infinite number of inner parts that are terrified by all the audacious things that I do. um, so I still show up because I feel in myself that I got myself. I've got myself. I'm doing it afraid, and I'm doing it without all the answers. I'm doing it without certainty. I'm doing it like I believe that I'm making the right choice, but like these are the hard kinds of choices. Abundance begins with no. These are no's that are hard to make because not every no is a fuck no. They're not. I wish it was true that they were, but they're not. A lot of no's that we have to make are not fun. We often have to make them or we're going to hurt people. We might be judged by people. We might be gossiped about. We might have people decide they don't want to be part of our lives anymore. And self-abandonment would be to just keep doing a thing, even though like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or this is not alive for me anymore. I need to make these changes. I need to speak my truth. I need to put some boundaries up. I need to, whatever it is. The emergent no, abundance begins with no. It's this kind of a no. And I have a whole framework to help you to hear this no because it's often very difficult to hear this no. We have so many things set up from childhood and over culture to keep us from hearing it. And we just can ignore it. So I'm going to help you hear it. You're coming because you're up for this, right? Like, don't come if you're not up for this. I'm not going to tell you to go say your no to the world tomorrow. I'm giving you resources so that you can take your time with this because you want to feel grounded. You want to set yourself up to be resourced. That's what this is resources to help you with what deep down you know is coming. It's your no to something. Abundance begins with no. So the link to that is going to be in the show notes so that you can come on Thursday or just get the replay. You do not need to be there live. I probably will not be super interactive with the audience because I got a lot to say. I love having the audience because like we laugh and we make jokes and like I love the brilliance of the people who come to my things because I always attract just like really brilliant, witty, creative, wise people. So I always love to see what comes up in the chat. But this is not an interactive space. It's going to be me just like transmission. Here you go. This is it. And then there's going to be, like I said, the PDF. And that is going to be really helpful because afterward, you're going to be able to go back to like the written piece to be sure like you can read it another way, right? Like we like to learn in different ways. And there's going to be a tarot spread in there and yeah, just resources. And then there's going to be a meditation. I haven't recorded it yet, but it's going to be a meditation with your future self. Many of y'all know that I have really magical meditations, especially the ones that involve a younger self or a future self who are giving you information. And so this future self is going to be giving you information to help you with what you're holding right now. And I promise you that is going to be the best wisdom you're going to get is from yourself, inner voice. So, of course, I would love it if joining this inspired you to come into the emergence astrology pathway, but it's very much a standalone offer that I'm going to continue to be able to sell as like a standalone thing over the years, and people are going to always be hearing the replay. So if you can't make it live, I'm designing it for people to listen to a thing that's already happened. So that's why your attendance is not required, but it's always fun. Thank you so much. Once again, if you've never left a rating or review, or if you want to leave a comment, I would love to know how this episode, this series is landing for you. I read every single one. It's very exciting to get that notification. So I would love to hear from you from the void, hear from you from the unknown. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know about the impact that this is having on you. Share that with others. Let them see it. And I will see you at our ninth house episode. Cheers.